Let us look ahead to Wednesday, November 6, 2024. The day after the election, the voting is over, but the counting is still going on. Trump has already declared himself the winner, and he has accused the Democratic Party of cheating and stealing the election again. Today, what do you think the MAGA militias are doing? They have already planned, they are already prepared. Trump is already claiming that the election will be stolen if he loses. He has already been quoted saying it will be a bloodbath. Currently, the Supreme Court is scheduled to hear Donald Trump's case on whether he or any future president has absolute immunity and cannot be held accountable for his previous actions. For anything he may do or has done as the American president, including the insurrection he initiated on January 6, 2021. A huge caveat to this potential ruling is this. What if the Supreme Court was to rule that Donald Trump has immunity and cannot be held accountable for his previous actions? What does that mean for current President Joe Biden now? Does that mean that President Joe Biden has absolute immunity right now? Could Joe Biden proactively keep Donald Trump from becoming president again by any means necessary? Does Joe Biden recognize that Donald Trump becoming president again would be so detrimental to our so-called democracy that hopefully he will make sure Donald Trump comes nowhere near the Oval Office ever again? Or would Joe Biden and other Democrats submit, as we have been prone to do, and let the Republicans, mainly Donald Trump, take over the country and rule the world? What do you think that would mean for all people of color, especially black people? Would Joe Biden take a stand as the current leader of the free world and use his newfound immunity and use the largest, strongest military in the world to put Donald Trump and his supporters in their place for the sake of world democracy? Either way, there will be consequences. The consequences could be a civil war and possibly a world war. The question is, do we as Afro-Americans become proactive or resign ourselves to our previous 1619 defenseless posture? If we truly believe in democracy, how will democracy be defined if this Supreme Court rules in Donald Trump's favor? Do we Afro-Americans believe in freedom? If so, to what end? Are we finally willing to fight for our freedom by any means necessary, even if we recognize we are outnumbered and outgunned? This is not meant to be a doom and gloom laden prophecy, but it is meant to make us all think, do we act accordingly, as a call to proactive action, not just political action? But as individuals and families, we cannot just throw up our hands and say there is nothing we can do. We must do everything we can, not to just protect our status in this life, but to move our standing forward aggressively. We have been way too complacent. These MAGA people and Republican politicians must be forced to recognize that Afro-Americans, Democrats, and progressives are prepared and willing to protect ourselves. MAGA Republicans need to be provided some pause in response to their attitudes and rhetoric. Unlike January 6, 2021, when they attacked the nation's capital and other state capitals for that matter, with little to no resistance. This is a call to action that we, mainly Afro-Americans and other people of color and like-minded white people, to organize. Whatever your station in this life, recognize how critical our lives are and be willing to protect and defend ourselves. To be crystal clear, this is not a call to violence. This is a call for proactive self-defense. Proactive self-defense is defending yourself before someone or some entity takes advantage of you. Proactive self-defense is not a call to terrorism. Terrorists are cowardly punks. Nothing has ever changed due to attacks on innocent people, from the actions of the KKK and other attacks against the civil rights movement. For example, Bloody Sunday, the terrorist acts on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama in 1965. And especially those who were involved on January 6, 2021. The basic tenets of proactive self-defense are: research who and what you are voting for. Be able to intelligently discuss and defend your vote. Then vote. Have a plan in place for the many days after the election. Treat that period as though it could become similar to a COVID-19 shutdown. We must be prepared for MAGA gun violence. It has and could occur in your neighborhood, at your job, at your city legislature, even your local grocery store. It is happening almost every day. Determine your level of confidence and act accordingly. We need to do everything possible not to become a victim. Be prepared physically. We all must put ourselves in our best possible physical condition. In other words, get in shape. Take your health seriously. We must prepare and train ourselves and our children for self-defense. We have seen how some of these MAGA people have acted at schools and at school board meetings. Nothing is safe. Nothing is sacred. Are we going to let ourselves and our children be victims with the mindset of, I didn't think this could happen here? Well, it is already happening here. MAGA families are prepared. They have been training for years. They make videos. They pose for Christmas cards with their kids holding guns, even AR rifles. We need to have cash on hand, credit cards with a usable balance, and non-perishable food. What will you and your family do if you lose power? Do you remember what it was like during the COVID-19 shutdown? Imagine that on a much larger scale. What if MAGA comes to your town, your house, and your school? January 6, 2021 was a test run. We must be prepared, no excuses. Does this possibility scare you? Have you been paying attention over the last 8 years? Could any of these things possibly happen? What happens if we prepare for all this carnage and nothing negative happens? Well, we will have lost nothing. There is no penalty for preparation, but there are huge consequences for not being prepared. Would you rather be a victim, or will you give yourself and your family a fighting chance to survive? This country has and will change. Democracy or not. Stay tuned to more detailed topics and methods of intellectual and actual self-defense from the knowledge.